You know the scene. We've all seen it in 1,000 medical dramas, right? A patient is crashing, alarms are blaring, and some doctor yells, "We need to intubate." It's always this moment of pure chaos. But what's actually happening behind all that drama? Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain and look at this critical, life-saving procedure. So yeah, let's just get right past that on-screen yelling and chaos. Because in the real world, intubation is this incredibly coordinated, super rapid response procedure. And it's all done by a totally focused team. We're going to break down exactly how it works, step by step, so you can see the calm precision that's really behind the drama. Okay, so it all starts here. This is the trigger. It could be because of an illness, a major injury, maybe even getting ready for surgery. But the second a patient can't maintain their own airway, a calm but really urgent process kicks into gear to take over the work of breathing for them. Now, here's something you have to understand. Intubation is never, ever a solo mission. The very first move isn't grabbing a piece of equipment, it's communication. It's about getting the right experts to that bedside, like right now. So the first actions are all about making those calls. The respiratory therapist gets the page. They're the ones who prep the ventilator. The wider medical team gets alerted to come and assist. And whenever it's possible, you let the patient and their family know what's happening. Every single person has a very specific job to do. All right, so the team is mobilized. What's next? The toolkit. You have got to have the right tools all checked and ready to go. It's totally fundamental to a successful and, more importantly, a fast intubation. First up, we've got the laryngoscope. The easiest way to think of this is as the doctor's eyes. It's got a handle and a lighted blade, and its whole job is to gently move the tongue and other stuff out of the way to get a direct, clear line of sight to the windpipe. And here's where it gets interesting, the blades themselves. You've got the Mac blade, which is curved. Just think C for curved. And it's what you'll see used most often for adults. Then there's the Miller blade, which is straight, like the L's in Miller, and that one's often preferred for kids. The choice really just comes down to the patient's anatomy and what the practitioner is most comfortable with. And this is the star of the show, the endotracheal tube, or ET tube for short. This is the flexible tube that actually goes into the windpipe. It creates a totally secure airway that gets hooked up to a ventilator, which then does all the breathing for the patient. Okay, this is it. This is where all that precision, speed, and communication come to a head. The next few moments are the most intense part of the whole thing, because during the intubation attempt itself, every single second counts. I love this quote from an ICU professional because it gets right to the point. While one person is totally focused on placing that tube, the nurse has an equally vital job. They are the team's eyes and ears on the patient's condition. And this is why it's so critical. For that short window of time while the tube is being inserted, the patient isn't breathing. They can't. So to get ready for this, they're pre-oxygenated, which basically means filling their lungs with 100% oxygen to create a reserve. But that reserve doesn't last long, which is why speed is just everything. So the nurse is watching these monitors like a hawk, and they're calling out the numbers loud and clear for the whole team to hear. Sats are 95, 92, dropping to 88. That feedback is absolutely crucial. It tells the person intubating exactly how much time they have before they have to stop and give the patient more oxygen. Okay, the tube is in. That's a huge, huge step. But hold on, the job is not done. The next phase is just as critical, confirming without a single doubt that the tube is in exactly the right place. You see, putting the tube in the esophagus, the food pipe, instead of the trachea is a massive, life-threatening error. It means you're just pumping air into the stomach, not the lungs. And that's why immediate verification is absolutely non-negotiable. So to make sure, they have this really smart triple check system. First, there's a little CO2 detector on the tube, and if it changes color, that confirms it's picking up carbon dioxide from the lungs. Good sign. Second, they use a stethoscope to listen for equal breath sounds on both sides of the chest. And finally, for the ultimate proof, they get a chest X-ray. So, while an intubation can literally stabilize a patient and save their life in just a few crucial minutes, it's really just the beginning of the story. It opens the door to a whole new phase of critical care, and that brings a brand new set of challenges for that patient on their long road to recovery.